Hello everyone, my name is Sandev Handy and I work as Senior Curator at the Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art Sri Lanka. I'm standing right now in the entrance to our exhibition Total Landscaping. Total Landscaping is an exhibition that in 3 parts that brings together 29 contemporary artists to look at the ways in which land has been transformed in Sri Lanka and conversely how land transforms us. So I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a snippet, a little bit of an overview of some of the artworks in the exhibition as an introduction so that you might too come and have a look at the artworks and engage with them as well. The artwork that I'm standing in and around right now is an artwork by Danushka Marasinghe. And Danushka, essentially, his artwork recreates a paddy field. A paddy field that, as you walk through, you hear the typical sounds that you might hear in a paddy field. And you might even imagine the times in which you've overlooked a paddy field or seen it on a grocery store advertisement or seen it in a tourism ad, where the paddy field has been used as a symbol of prosperity and pride and beauty in Sri Lanka as well. Danushka is really interested in what is beyond the visual, and particularly for that reason, as you're walking through Danushka's paddy field, you hear the typical sounds you might hear in the paddy field, but suddenly you might hear a different sound, a threatening sound, something that is slightly unnerving. And Danushka wants us to take that as a cue, to think about how we perceive landscapes, but also to listen carefully to landscapes and land, and see perhaps what's going on in the underbrush itself, the things that we don't see, but that might be happening beyond the surface of a landscape. And that, I think, is the fundamental question of the show itself. It's the fundamental prompt of the show, to invite visitors to think about the ways in which we perceive landscape, how we understand it, and the ways in which we can listen to it differently. So I'm now standing in Gallery 2 of Rotation 2 of Total Landscaping. And this gallery takes a hint from what we saw in Danushka's work, which is really asking us to pay attention to landscape and understand land differently. This gallery takes that idea and actually brings together 4 artists and specifically 4 artworks that actually adopt quite traditional means of understanding and paying attention to landscape, but introduce something different, something unexpected in their adaptation of these approaches. The 2 works behind me, of course, they begin, their works by Pala Pothupitiya and Tishanathanan, and they adopt the very basic understanding of a map, of an aerial view, to talk about 2 landscapes. But instead of what you might see in a typical map, or the information you might receive in a typical map, Pala Pothupitiya and Shanathanan's work introduces the map as a tool to tell a different kind of story. Similarly, the works on the right and to my left feature 2 vantage points. That is, to stand from point A and look towards point B and understand the landscape as a distance between those 2 points. You're standing with me now, and what you're seeing is the next gallery in the exhibition. And the next gallery brings together a series of sculptural, archival, and drawing-based, and photographs and drawing-based works to really look at the ways in which land is bordered and how in turn land borders us and our relation to each other. The works look at typical barricades like you see very visually behind me. It's a work by Chandragupta Tenura. 2 barricades or borders that we might not directly see that Nilani is pointing to in her work around borders that exist in the ocean around Sri Lanka. And from there we move into stories of things like documents or personal items or Vesak lights or Christmas lights or murals, and the ways in which they code our relationship to land, but more specifically, the ways in which these ordinary objects, these things, objects that we are so used to, play quite a significant role in determining how we interact with land, and also bordering, choosing who is on this side and who is on the other side of a border. The artworks in here sort of ask us to look at power and the forms power takes in the form of tools, in the form of documents, in the form of visible and invisible barricades, to think about how our relationship to land is coded and is always mediated by these particular tools. I've given you a few small vignettes of some of the artworks in rotation 2 of Total Landscaping. There are, of course, many other works in the exhibition, including interactive works and works that you might not typically see as artworks until you come and start and begin engaging with them as well. So I'd invite you to come visit the museum. Come alone, come with your family, come with your friends, and spend time here. We're open every day of the week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we don't charge an entrance fee, nor do we charge for any of our public programs, tours, workshops, and so on. So keep an eye out on our social media, on our website, and through other channels to hear about what's going on at the museum. But even if you don't hear about anything, you are welcome to walk in. We're located in Crescat Boulevard, and we're called the Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art, Sri Lanka.